Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show how to do last year's midterm, and I'll upload the codes as well and everything. Okay, let's start. So the midterm, first to understand the final goal, it's gonna look something like this. So we're gonna need to draw a sketch with stars all over the place and two rockets that's gonna be moving. Different rockets is gonna behave differently, and these two boxes here have a little bit of a special thingy which we'll get into detail later. Okay, so start off, the screen size will be 900, so it'll look like this, 900 times 600, and then it'll be divided into 4 equal sections with a white colored line. So this line is going to be a white color, and then the entire screen is going to be made of these stars, which is going to be formed by two triangles, something like that. And then you have triangles all over the place, like mentioned in the last slide. And in different sections, the color is going to be different. Okay, so let's just get started first. One, we know that the screen size is 900 by 600. Okay, so first, background is dark gray. You can do it whatever you want. I can just gonna set it to 50. Just kind of dark gray. And then we're gonna draw two colored lines to divide screen into 4 equal sections. So we'll draw first is rook 255. So the line is gonna divide the 4 equal sections. So let's start with the vertical line. The first x point is at width divided by 2, and the y is 0. This is still width divided by 2. And then this one is at height. If I draw the vertical line starts at 0, x value is 0, and then starts at divided by 2. And then this one is at width divided by 2. Right, so you see the first line is this one. So that's at width divided by 2. All the x-axis is width divided by 2. It's just the y values that's different. One is at 0, the other is at height. This one, the horizontal line is the opposite. So the starting point is going to be, the y values are the same. So they're both at height divided by 2. Just the x values, one starts from 0, the other ends at width. So let's give it a try. Bam. Okay, that's good. That's good. Right. Now, in order for us to draw these 4 sections of stars, what happens is we're going to draw all the 4 sections of stars first. So let's say we're gonna just draw the star at the center, integer x, y. Let's put x at the middle of the screen, by 2, and y at also the middle of the screen, by 2. Okay, now let's draw the triangle. What are the dimensions? So we know that this is the code to draw a triangle, and we need 3 different coordinates. The first one is the first point. Let's say it's this one. So you could see if you calculate, that's x minus 20. So each grid on this grid, each pixel represents 10 pixels. So x minus 20, and then y minus 10. The second point is the one on the right. It's gonna be x plus 20. The y is still minus 10. And the third point is the one down here, which is just x and y plus 20. draw the second triangle. Well, the second triangle, the points are all actually, the x points are all the same. It's just the y that you gotta flip it. This is plus 10, this is plus 10, and this is negative 20. It's just, the triangle is just flipped on its y-axis. Ta-da! Okay, now we're gonna draw the triangle on the using a like a lot of triangles, and you know we gotta use the for function. So that's what makes us repeat the code. And so let's say x, no, code x, it starts at 0, and then x ends at width, and x plus equals, okay, let's find this number later. And we do another function for y, y height, y plus equals, close it off. Maybe you gotta put this. Okay, now what are the numbers here? So you could see here that a star is at the center of the 90 times 60 space. So you could tell that in this box, that's 90 and that is 60. So this should be 90, the box is 90, this is 60. Right, let's try to run this. Yay, okay, we've got all our stars. I could see here that there's just something off because the center point of our star is in the middle of the star, and that's why it started at 0, 0, as you can see here, 0 and 0. So the fix here is we gotta move this star half box to the right and half box down. So that's just 90 divided by 2, which is 45, and 60 divided by 2, which is 30. So now everything's gotta be in place. Okay, that's good. Now how do we change it to different colors? Well, essentially, if you look here, if I do fill 25500, which represents the color red, it's going to color everything red. Now this is completely fine. It's just that we have to adjust these values depending on where the star is. So then we gotta divide this square into 4 equal sections. How do we do that? We use if. So the star at different locations will have different fills. So let's say we define if x is smaller than width divided by 2. Now this is width divided by 2 here. So if x is smaller, it's pointing towards this left area, the red and the yellows. But then we can add a second condition and define for exactly this quarter. And we know that the red quarter is the left side of the middle and the top side of the middle. So that will be x is smaller than height divided by 2. Fill would be red color, so that's 255, 0, and 0. Now we're gonna define for the other 3 sections. So I'm just gonna quickly type this down. Let's say we're gonna define for the green one. So x is now more than width divided by 2. So you see x here is on the right side of the center, but then it's still at the top side of the middle line. So it's y is still less than height, right, by 2. Fill would be green color, so that will be 0, R, G, and B. Now for the third section, the yellow section. Now x here is going to be less than the width divided by 2. It's on the left side of this center line, left side. But then the y is lower than the center. It's the one below here. So it's going to be y. The y is more than height divided by 2. And this fill color would be the mixture of both red and green, which is going to produce yellow. And the last box is going to be blue. X is on the right side, so that's x is larger than width, width divided by 2. And y is larger because it's on the bottom side. Y is larger than height divided by 2. You see now, by dividing this into 4 quarters, divided by width divided by 2, height divided by 2, it's very easy for us. We don't have to make any calculations, and we know exactly what we're looking at. This is going to be blue color, so there's R, G, and 255B. Let's run it. Ta-da! Yeah, so that's red, green, yellow, and blue. Okay, what is the next step? Okay, so the next step is draw 2 sets of 2 equal-sized rectangles at the center of the screen. So this is your reference point. Center of the screen, which is here, and then 2 sets of 2 equal-sized rectangles. So you're gonna have 2 rectangles and 2 sets of them, and then which is on the upper left and the lower right. So you can see it here. That's 2 sets of rectangles, one in the upper left and one at the lower right. So let's try that. So you can see that the fill is first. Stroke is black, and fill is white color. So that's 255. Okay, so let's try the rectangles now. Now we know that the axis, the what we're referring to here is the center of the screen. So if we were to use width, yeah, let's not worry too much about the the exact measurements. But let's just see what happens when we put it at the center of the screen. What are the dimensions of the width? It says here the width of the rectangle is 5% of the screen width. So width is going to be width times 0.05. That's 5%. And then the height is going to be 10% of the screen height times 0.1. So now if we draw this, okay, ta-da, got this rectangle here. Now, if we copy paste this, basically we've got ourselves 4 rectangles with all the correct sizes. But we have to adjust the x and y values. So let's start off with the top 2. We're gonna have to shift this upwards. We're gonna have to, there's 4 boxes here. We're gonna shift 2 of them on the top. How do we do that? So because they're moving it up in the y-axis, up means negative. So we're gonna move these boxes up. How much? By this height here. So this number here, if we minus here, minus, it's gonna push these 2 boxes up. Ta-da. Why? Is because this width, this height here, if we minus by the height, basically we're gonna get this box right above it. Now let's move this box to the left. Same theory is we move it to the left by the width. We're gonna get these boxes on the left side. So do that minus width, the x-axis minus. Ta-da! So now it's on both on the left side. But there's still 2 boxes stacked on each side. So what we're gonna do is this first box is gonna shift it another 1 box to the left. So it's gonna be times 2. Okay, and then the one down here, the last box, it's going to be height. So the x value is going to be plus width, plus the width of the box. And so now we've got ourselves 4 boxes. Yay. Now the condition here is that if the screen size changes, you must program that basically the automatically readjust the sizes. And this is why it's important to use multiply the width variable by 5%. So let's say we change this to 600 by 600. Yep, as you can see, the box size changes. So be taller, and let's say 100. Yeah, let's say this is 600. As you can see, the size of the rectangles in the middle change. Let's get back to the original values. Okay, now the purpose of these 4 boxes are very special. Okay, always remember to save. I'm not gonna save here because it's an empty sketch, but always remember to save. The color of these 4 boxes are gonna be pretty special. Let's work on these 2 first. So it says here, the left rectangle of each set will be colored according to the rocket colors, which we will make at question 5. We'll make the rocket colors later. But then you can see here that this reference here is this. The left rectangle, which is these two, 1 and 2, is going to be the same color as the rockets. So this color here, as you can see, is the same color as this. And this orange color is the same color as the rocket. So what we could do is we use fill. And because we don't know yet what that color is going to be, we could just create a variable rocket1c, rocket1 for C for color. And then for this box, we're going to do R2C. Then what's the boxes on the right? You can see here. The right rectangles of each set will be colored according to the rocket position. For example, if rocket 1 is at the red star zone, the right rectangle of the upper set will be red. The reference point here is this. According to the rocket position. So you see, where is this rocket position? It's currently in the red star zone. This right box is going to be red. Let's say this rocket moves to the green star zone. This is going to be green. We're going to see that a little bit clearer later. But we know that we're going to need to change the colors anyway. So we're going to make the variables here. Box1c. And then this is going to be box2c. Fill. Box2c. And then up here, we're going to create the color variables. So color, R1c. Okay, let's pick a color for our rocket. Say we pick this one, purple. Just copy this, paste this up. R2C. Okay, what is our second rocket color? Let's say it's let's do orange. Copy. Oops. Paste it here. And we also need R1, B1C and B2C. Okay, so now you could see that these two boxes are already at the rocket colors, which is we decided as magenta and orange. So now don't worry too much about the second box because we already have a variable for it. We're gonna modify it later. Let's move on first. Okay, let's make a function to draw the rocket. So we're gonna start off with doing our own function. Start at the end, void. Let's call it rocket. So that's how you start off with a custom function, a user-defined function. Here are the three parameters: the rocket's X position, Y position, and main color. So just go ahead and add those variables in, both Y and color C. Now remember, in the parameters here, it's kind of meaning that we're requesting for these values. As you can see here, if you click on rocket function, you could see this would require, there's an error there, and it's gonna say something, oh, we need rocket, the function rocket requires float, 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 and basically you need to put stuff here. So like, let's say, 100, 100, 100. Yeah, something like that, maybe. We're gonna worry about that first. Now let's draw the rocket. So yeah, we're just gonna draw the shapes now. So I could see from this rocket there's just an ellipse behind. So we're gonna start from that first. Ellipse, it's x negative 20, y negative 20, and the dimensions are 40 and 40. And then we're gonna draw the rectangle here, which is starts at x negative 20 and y negative 20. The dimensions are 40 by width and the height is 50. Okay. Then now we're gonna draw that circle in the middle. X, which is x and y. And the dimensions are 20 and 20. Feel free anytime to pause and slow down this video so that you can kind of try to see what's going on. And then now we're gonna draw the quadrilateral down here. So we're gonna use quad starting from the left top point. So that'll be x minus 20 and y plus 30. Now, you could see here that the x-axis is kind of changed between negative and plus, but all the y-axis is below. So you could just focus on the y is all plus. So now we do y x plus 20 and then y plus 30. That's the top 2 points. Now you're gonna do the bottom 2 points. Now remember that when you draw the these when you're defining the points for a quad, it needs to be in order, not to be intersecting with another. So let's say we're gonna draw this first point, second point. The third point needs to be this one, not this one. Otherwise, it'll look a little bit funny. So this third point here is going to be x plus 30. No, that's x plus, yeah, x plus 30, that's right. Y plus 50. X minus the other side, so x minus 30, and y is still plus y plus 50. Okay, let's say we're gonna see how it looks like. So let's just put a number down. See. Okay, that looks pretty messed up. Let's do the fill so we can see it clearer first. Okay, so you can see we have some problems here. So this ellipse is, the x is not nice then. The x is right at the center. And our quad has a problem as well. The third point is x plus 30. X plus 30. Let's run this again. Okay, that looks like a much better rocket. And we just need to draw those two lines. So we're gonna go with line x minus 30. You can try to pause this video and write down the numbers and see if you can get it correct. I think that'll be a pretty good learning journey. So x minus 10, and that is y plus 30. And then the second point is x minus 20, y plus 50. Now, second line, you could see that the x points are the same. Oh, sorry, the y points are the same. It's just the x points that's flipped on the other side. I'm just gonna do this plus, and run this. Ta-da! Okay, now you could see here there, we're gonna need to change the body color of this rocket. That's what we have this variable for. So now, this is the rectangle. That's the body size. So I go to fill. So that rocket 1C, the color is gonna get transported here, and this C is going to be transported here. Okay, after we color the body of the rectangle, we gotta move it back to white, so that only the rocket body gets colored, not everything else. Ta-da! So now, theoretically, we could draw a second rocket at a different location. Let's say it's 300, 300, with the second body color. And now we have a second rocket. Okay, let's move to the next step. Okay, these two rockets, okay, we have the locations for them. It's at 200, 200, and 600, 400. So that's 200, 200, 600, and 400. Right, so as you can see, the left rectangle of the upper left center of blah blah blah. You can just read that. But basically this and this is the same color, and this color and this color is the same. Kind of like what we have here. This left box is the same as this purple, and this is orange, and this is also orange. We'll do this one later. The right parts of the boxes. Okay, now let's get the rockets moving. Now we know that since they're gonna move, that means you're gonna need to create variables for them, for the x and y variables. So R2, let's just call it R1 and R2 with their x and y's. So now let's go ahead and create the variables. So it's R1x. We know that it starts at 200, and R1y starts at 200 as well. for the second rocket, R2x equals to 400, and R2y starts at 600, I think. Correct. No, this one is 600. This one is 400. So now things may look the same, but if we run this, okay, it's still a static image, but then now they're using variables. So this is where the magic comes in. We're gonna make a move. So R1X, you can see that moves 0.5 pixels per frame. It moves 0.5 pixels per frame to the right for X. So that's correct, that's already positive. However, it moves 2 pixels per frame upward for Y. So for the Y part, it moves upwards, so it's going to be negative 2 pixels. And then for the Y, okay, let's check this out. The second one. Let's do the Y for X and Y for rocket 2 first. So rocket 2 moves 1.5 pixels. R2X moves 1.5 pixels. 1.5 pixels equals 1.5 to Y equals 4 pixels. Okay, this is where things get interesting. So if we run this, it's gonna move just fine. Yep. The way these two rockets behave around the sketch is very different. So the blue rocket, you could see, it enters when its whole body completely moves out of the screen. It enters the screen again from the opposite side. So it's kind of like the sad face if you did homework number 2. When it moves up from the screen, it's going to reappear from the bottom. I'm going to show you real quick how it looks like. So let's define that. So if rocket 1x gets smaller, so it's passing the boundary. For the x part, so if it moves outside the right boundary, it's gonna be if x is more than, sorry, if x is less than negative 30, which is the, so when the rocket is here, so that's 0 when it hits negative 30, which is outside the boundary. It's gonna move over directly to the other side. So you can do R1x will equal to width plus 30. And we do the same for the opposite side. R1x, if R1x is more than width plus 30, because it's outside the boundaries, then R1x will be negative 30. Now let's do the same thing for the y side. R1y, if it's less than negative, this is a little bit trippy. So you gotta, because the dimensions of the rocket side by side is the same, but then top to bottom is different. You could see here that it's 40 pixels. It's 50 pixels down here. So when it appears all the way outside the screen, it's going to be R1Y negative 50. So when the rocket is here, the center point of the rocket is at negative 50. And R1Y will be moved down to the bottom. So that will be height plus 40. Because the top part of the rocket is 40 pixels. Now we do the bottom side. R1Y is larger than height plus 40. Yep. R1Y will equal to, it's going to move up back to the top, so it's going to be negative 50. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so you can see the moment it leaves the screen, right there, it reappears down here. Okay, let's wait for a bit to see for the X side. Alright, moving out of the screen, reappear to the other side. Ta-da! You can see it reappearing there. Okay, now we're gonna do for the second rocket. Now the second rocket behavior is different. So this one is if it touches the edges of the screen, it reverses the direction. So this bounces inside the sketch. This is kind of like the happy face and the sad face if you did homework 2. So you go, all the parameters that we need is the x values. If the rocket 2x is smaller than, okay, so if the rocket is inside, we want the rocket to stay inside. So if R2x, let's say the rocket is right there, the center is there. So R2x minus 30 is equal to 0. And then we'll make it bounce. So R2, okay. Now that we know it's going to bounce, that means these two variables needs to be tied to a direction. So we could just quickly create the variables for that. R2 dx for direction x equals to, let's just put it for 1 first, and R2 dy equals to 1. So let's kind of check the directions here. The initial direction is up and left. So up means it's negative y, and left means it's negative x. And then we tie the variable here. So this is times R2 dy. This is times R2 dx. Now let's flip the direction of this thing. R2 dx equals to negative R2 dx. Right. Now, let's say it approaches the right side of the screen. The command is still the same. It's going to flip in this direction, which is this code here. So to save our coding, we can just add a second condition here. Or, so if it touches the left side, or if it touches the right side, which is, if it's R2x, let's say the rocket is here, the x-centered point of the rocket is here. So if R2x plus 30 is more than the width. Yeah. It's basically the same for the y, but we just have to compensate, change the variables for y. R2y, this is R2y, this is R2y. Instead of height, width, we use height, and this one. Okay, so for the rocket, remember the top part and the bottom part, the distance is different. So when the rocket is at the top, this is the y part. So that distance is y negative 40. And the bottom part, when the rocket is down here, it's going to be y plus 50. Plus 50. Give that a try. Gotta bounce. Okay, that's good. So as you can see, it bounces right off the corners, right off the edges of the screen. Okay, that's good. Now the last tricky part. We're pretty much the end here, but we have to go back to this left box. So what's gonna happen here is, as you can see, let's say this orange rocket, right? It's now entering the red zone. This box is going to be that same color. So red zone, this is gonna be red. Yellow zone, this is gonna be yellow. Blue zone, green zone, this box is going to be the color where this rocket is at right now. So it's at the blue zone. This is going to be blue. And let me show you how to do it. So in this case, we actually already divided this entire thing, this entire sketch into 4 different sections, which is when we are drawing and when we were coloring the stars earlier. So now we can just copy paste the text. But instead of X, we'll just do for rocket 1. And then now instead of fill, you remember earlier we have the variables b1c and b2c for box 2 color, box 1 color. So we can just do b1c equals to this same color. Ta-da. Just copy this, paste this here. So now you could see that wherever this rocket 1 goes, see that box yellow? The rocket 1 is now yellow, back to red. We're gonna move to yellow for a bit, move to blue, it's gonna move to green. Depending on the location of this rocket, this color follows the star zones. And we just need to do the same thing for, oops, we gotta just do the same thing for rocket number 2. Just change it to 2. All the ones we just change it to 2. Alright, so now you can see the second rocket works just fine. Ta-da. Wherever this goes, yellow zone right there, red zone, this moves back to the yellow zone, this rocket moves to the green, orange rocket, sorry, moves to the green zone, it's gonna move to the back to the blue zone. So yeah, that's kind of like this entire project, and um, I hope this video has been helpful to prepare for the midterm. Um, yeah, you should pause the video once in a while and just give it a try again if you want to, and try to do it without watching the video. Um, yeah, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to email me. I'm going to upload all these files, all the references and etc. in an announcement. There is going to be a TA session where you can ask me any questions on Zoom, and I will announce the details in the announcement. Okay, good luck, guys, and prepare well for your midterms, and I wish everyone the best of luck. Bye bye.